So I am a consultant. I'm an international development consultant, and my focus is on Africa as a region, as a continent. I am currently working on several projects, and one specifically focused on the National Assembly. It is my baby. It is something that I'm really excited about, and I'm happy to elaborate more on pretty much why I've decided to focus on the legislature, the legislative arm of government in Nigeria right now. I support different projects in terms of design, in terms of research, monitoring and evaluation, and that's more so government, but then I also am a business consultant. So research, consumer intelligence, strategy, things like that. I am also in grants administration. So I work for an endowment, and my portfolio is basically covers Uganda, Kenya, Somaliland, and Nigeria. So we fund or we support NGOs in those countries. That's my portfolio specifically. So I know it's kind of
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's good.
Can you
we
elaborate
can
more
dive a
about?
little bit deeper if you want.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear more about the National Assembly and what you do
Sure.
with them. That's I enjoy government and politics and leadership and things like
Really
that. So,
enjoy government and politics is a crazy statement.
well, I enjoy. Yes, I like I that is what I would want to if
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
if I was to be involved in things going on in Liberia, it would be something along those lines. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's where
Yeah.
Yeah, and
my
I'm
passion
That's
is.
so
fair.
happy to hear
You're
this,
the
Llewellyn,
business
honestly.
guy. We would come to you for the cash to be able to fund some stuff.
I'm really happy to hear this, Llewellyn, and I know that, people try and shy away from politics, and I'm like, please, if I can encourage everyone who is interested in politics to actually pursue it, I would. I say that because, as we all know, Africa is an extremely young continent, right? In Nigeria alone, you have more than 65% of the population is under the age of 25. And yet, our leaders are not reflective of that demographic. So you have the most powerful positions, the power brokers, the decision makers are 70 and up, but your population is extremely young. And I think it's important to have as many of us taking up space, as many of us occupying or having a seat at the table as possible. These are the decisions that are influencing your lives and your businesses. So for business people who think that they shouldn't be interested in politics, I'm like, oh, wait until a legislation passes that completely bans the importation of furniture or rice or cars or whatever your business is, because that's very feasible. It's very possible. Like I mentioned, Nigeria, out of necessity, you do a lot of creative things. I used to work in the oil and gas sector. And after the oil and gas sector, I worked in the financial markets. And I worked in government and regulatory relations in a financial market company. It was actually a securities exchange. And so I was required, as a government and regulatory relations person, I was actually required to sit at the table and have access to, or basically follow all of the National Assembly's activities. I needed to know what the Senate Committee on Capital Markets was talking about, what the House of Representatives Committee on Capital Markets was talking about. I needed to make sure that they were fully aware of the sector, the industry, because unfortunately, we don't really have the same types of requirements to be a legislator as maybe more developed nations. You only are required to have, I think, a secondary school degree, which is like high school. So you can imagine legislators with, you know, only high school degrees. Many of them do not have any private sector experience beyond, maybe they don't have any private sector experience at all. They are going to be initiating policy or drafting policy and laws on your industry that they know very little about. So in my role as a government and regulatory relations professional, I was meant to engage the committee members and make sure that they understood the industry, understood the sector, and they were not about to do something that was going to be detrimental to our business. And from that, from my time as a government and regulatory relations person, I became more interested in legislation generally. So just to give you a sort of quick overview, and because we're American, you probably already have a stronger understanding. Nigeria has almost identical system to America. So we have a bicameral system. We have a Senate and a House of Representatives. They are the legislative branch of government. We have legislative, executive, and judicial. Operate pretty much similarly. We have 360 House of Representative members. They represent the 36 states of the country and the Federal Capital Territory. Then we have about, I think it's 109 senators now. I can't remember. A couple of them died. Yeah, I think it's 109. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. So again, they are meant to be the closest to the Nigerian people. They each representative, and this is the same exact thing here. You should know who your national or who your local representatives are, as well as your senators. They are the closest to the people. They are representative of the people. Their constituencies, they're answerable to us. So the people who are pretty much meant to vote or meant to initiate or meant to take a position on these laws and these policies are our legislators. And I learned that, again, the requirements to be legislator is you just have to have a diploma. And again, you have people who are struggling economically, and they don't know that there are frameworks that are governing their industry that the legislators have a direct impact on. So I decided that my interest was going to focus on the legislators because of their access to the people. And in this journey that I've been on with this project, which I'll touch on in a second, I also came to understand that our civil service system generally is a whole juggernaut on its own. So it's not just legislators, it's legislative staff, it's the bureaucrats, those are the people who are meant to deliver the dividends of democracy via the legislatures. And they also do not have criteria that I think is suitable for the work that they do. Meaning, again, you can pretty much just show up tomorrow and all of a sudden work in the office of honorable so-and-so.
Yeah,